Hey everyone, welcome to another video. This video is gonna be my Shop My Stash for the month of July. I'm also gonna be reflecting on my Shop My Stash for the month of June, kind of telling you what looks I did, how I felt about these products. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let's get right into this video. So if you haven't been on my channel before, my name is Marley and I love making YouTube videos about makeup and beauty. I love trying out new makeup, I love trying out new things, and I especially love trying out new indie things. That's just what I get most excited about. But at the same time, I'm trying to keep my collection a little bit curated, and I'm trying to not spend too much money on makeup and not have the feeling that I have to buy everything. So if that sounds good to you, then don't forget to subscribe. I usually upload about 2 to 3 videos a week and I would love to see you again on my channel. So my goal for the last rotation was to really get myself excited again for eyeshadow. I really picked the eyeshadow palettes that I was most excited about, that I really love, and that I thought I would really get inspired by. But then it got really hot in the Netherlands for a little bit there, and as you might know, I don't really cope well with heat. It doesn't really make me wanna wear makeup or do anything at all. I just like lay on the couch and hope for it to go away, hope for it to get cooler. So I didn't use as much makeup. I didn't wear as much makeup as I was planning to, but I did use basically all of these products. I did use them a couple of times, so I'm still pretty happy with the looks that I did, but usually there are more days in the month that I wear makeup. So let's start with the cheek products. First up, I put in this Max Factor bronzer in the shade Light Gold. This is the Creme Puff bronzer. It's a baked bronzer. I really like it. I'm wearing it today. Really liked wearing it. It's a little bit more impactful than some of the other bronzers that I have, but because it's summer, I actually really like wearing it. I did focus on my Project Pan bronzer more, but I did reach for this one a couple of times. Then I put in this H&M highlighter in the shade Sunbeam. This is kind of like a peach to pink duochrome. Really loved wearing this one. I really love this formula and this color. It just makes me feel very summery. This is just the right time of year for this one. I did use it a couple of times. I also use it in my inner corner. Then I also put in this Clinique highlighter in the shade Flower Pop. This one definitely is a bit on the subtle side, and sometimes when I use it, I just feel like I want a little bit more. This is really like a glow from within. It's really pretty. I like the color. It's a really nice formula, but it is definitely a bit subtle. So, and I feel like I'm realizing that more and more the more I actually use it. So I really like it, but I feel like I'm going through a little bit of a phase where I do want some more shine on my cheeks. Then the third and last highlighter that I put in my Shop My Stash is this Pink Tune highlighter by Dior. I'm wearing it today. It's really pretty. It's also quite like subtle, but it's a really nice pink glow. It's not too icy. Wore this a couple of times. It's just really nice. So for the blush, I actually chose two. First I chose this Clinique Melon Pop one. This is such a nice kind of peachy shade. It blends in the skin so well. Really love wearing this one. I wore it a couple of times. And I also chose this one by Clinique in the shade Pink Pop for the more like pinky looks, a little bit more for like the cool toned vibes, although it's not really like a super cool pink. But I really loved wearing this one as well. I feel like I wore them like a quite similar amount of times. Then let's move on to the lip products. First up, I put in this Fenty the Glass Bomb in the shade Fussy. I don't love this one. This isn't my favorite, but I felt like, why not put it in sometime and just like use it? I did pay for it. It's fine. I kind of use it more as like a balm. I didn't really wear it with like real makeup looks, just on days that I did pretty simple makeup and did a bit of a like no makeup look. That's when I grabbed for this one. It just gives me a little bit of a weird taste in my mouth, and I don't really like that. Next up, I actually put in this MAC Matte lipstick in the shade Really Me. This this ended up looking pretty weird on me. I don't know. This is a bit of a weird lipstick because it's pretty light and cool toned, and it says it's matte, but it's quite creamy and it kind of settles into lines. It doesn't look the most flattering, and it's just really light and cool toned. I wore it on its own and it looked just really weird. I feel like it could work a little bit better, and I feel like it has worked better in the past with a lip liner, but it's just a bit of a fussy lipstick. You have to be careful. You don't want to apply too much because then it starts looking weird, but at the same time it's really creamy. I don't know if this is really one that I'm gonna keep in my collection in the long term. This did disappoint me a bit. Maybe I should try it again when I'm a bit more fair in the winter. So next up I put in the Nabla Dreamy Creamy liquid lipstick in the shade Eve. I feel like I wore this once or twice. I just really like this one. I think it looks so flattering on the lips. This is just a favorite of mine. And I always just know that I'm gonna end up really liking the look when I use this one. So of course I really liked wearing this one. Then next up I have the Sephora Cream Lip Stain in the shade 70. This one I actually wore with a lip liner and it looked so good. I did a little bit of a more warm toned eye look, and I had a bit of a limey green top on, not like extremely warm lime, but a bit of a neutral lime, and I felt like that was the perfect combination of colors. I really liked that look. I really liked how this looked with the lip liner. That look was just one of my favorites of the past month. Then I didn't actually end up wearing this one. This is the Sephora Cream Lip Stain in the shade 84. I always find it the most difficult to wear the more bright lips. And once again, we see that I didn't end up wearing the bright lip, even though I really wanted to, but it's just sometimes a bit much to think about if you're focusing more on eyeshadow or you're just wearing like a really simple look, which I did a lot. So I'm gonna be keeping this one in because I still want to wear it, but I didn't end up wearing it. It's just what it is. Then let's move on to the eyeshadow. So first up I put in the Nabla Dreamy palette because I thought that this was gonna inspire me a lot to do my eyeshadow, because the last time I had this one in, I actually used this one like 10 times. I did do quite a few looks with this one. I used the mattes, I use the shimmers a lot. I just did a lot of like simple neutral looks. I don't feel like I have pictures of every one of them, and not all the pictures are like really interesting to look at because I just did like really neutral looks with like a nice shimmer on the lid. But I really liked using this palette. I will put a look on the screen. Then next up I also put in these Menagerie Cosmetics single eyeshadows. So what I ended up doing was like a pretty neutral, pretty like subtle crease, and then I put on one of these shimmers on the lid. I did one look where I used this one on the lid, and I also did another look. I think I used this one on the lid, and I really loved how it looked. It was just pretty simple but still quite special because of that shimmer, the shine, and the duochrome. I feel like it was such a nice way to add like a pop to a look without it becoming like super bright and colorful. So I ended up doing some quite like simple but really pretty looks with this. Then next up I actually put in the Club Nebula palette by Kaleidos, and this one I actually used I think 2 times. I did a look with more of like the warm tones on the bottom, and then I also did a look where I used more of like the greens and the blues, and I used this shimmer over here. I kind of wanted to try this shimmer on the lid because one of my subscribers actually told me that it might be similar to a new eyeshadow in the Nabla Cutie palette Midnight. So I did a look with that to kind of see if they were similar, and this one is a bit more sheer. It has a bit less of a purple base, so you can definitely see the difference, but they do have a similar vibe. So I don't know if you would need both, so I kind of like tried that out. But yeah, I did some really pretty looks with this one, and I just love this red here. I think this is the best red I've tried. It's just so good. Like, I just love the undertone and the pigment this has. It's so good. Then the last eyeshadow palette I put in is actually the Glamlight Ice Cream Dream eyeshadow palette. Once again, I did some pretty like neutral looks with this one. I did plan to go more into the colorful tones, like use some of these pastels, but I think it's something that would have happened if I had more time and energy to really do like intricate looks. I just kept my eyeshadow really simple and I went into the neutrals over here. I did do a few looks. I did really like the looks. I do feel like I haven't used this to its fullest potential, but that's something I can still do like later on. Sometimes life just doesn't go exactly as you plan it. You can't always plan for everything. You can't always know what's gonna happen. So yeah, I did use it a couple of times. Didn't do exactly the looks that I thought I would, but that's fine. Alright, so for the next month, I actually was thinking about not picking out any palettes. I was actually thinking that it would be interesting to see what I reach for if I don't have like rules. If I don't have to use anything except for my project pen, and if I just can pick the things that I want to use. I just want to see, because it's been a while since I actually did that. And I've been doing this Shop My Stash for quite a bit. So I just want to like refresh a little bit and just see what I reach for if I don't have it as part of my Shop My Stash. And then later on, base the future times that I'm doing my Shop My Stash, I can base those on this information. Alright, so I took a little break to charge my camera. My battery was dying, kind of tried to fix my lipstick. And let's get into the products that I chose for next month. So first up, I actually chose the Smashbox Kelly Contour palette. This was in my project pen for a little bit, then I took it out and kind of forgot about it. So I want to put this back in because this is quite nice and pigmented. And I think this is gonna be very good for summery bronzy looks. Next up, I actually wanted to put in some blushes that I've had for a little bit, but I want to focus on them a little bit more, use them a little bit more. And first up, I put in the Hourglass Sublime Flush. This is such a nice corally pink with a cool tone glow. I really like this one. I like the effect on the cheeks. It's just such a nice fresh color, so I want to use this one again. Next, I'm putting in the Bare Minerals Bronzer. If you have seen my new blushes ranking, you know that this isn't like my tippy top favorite, but I still like it. I still think it deserves to be used. I'm gonna be putting it in and just using it a little bit more and trying to do some bronzy looks, see if I can kind of get that sun-kissed look that people always are talking about. Next up, I'm putting in this MAC Extra Dimension blush in the shade Room to Bloom from the Black Cherry collection. This is such a nice kind of warm pink mauve shade, and this is one that I've had for a few months, but I kind of didn't use it for a while, so I guess it's time to put this back in. Next up, I put in the Kiko highlighter in the shade Ocean Feel from the... I don't know what I'm saying. I know what this highlighter is called. I know what collection this is from. I'm just saying weird things. So this is the Virtuous Golden Rose highlighter from the Ocean Feel collection by Kiko. This is a beautiful rose gold shade that I love wearing in the summer. So this definitely has to be in the Shop My Stash. Then I'm also putting in this Colourpop Here Kitty Kitty highlighter. That's kind of like a champagne tone. It's quite glowy. I just want to put in a little bit of a neutral, easy to wear highlighter that does give a nice glow to the cheeks. Then I'm also putting in this Kiko Fruit Explosion highlighter in the shade Coral Sunset. This is a beautiful kind of peachy gold tone. It kind of has like a duochrome quality to it. I think this will be beautiful for bronzy looks that I'm planning to do, so that's why I'm putting this one in. And then the last thing we have to talk about for next month is of course the lip products, because I'm not putting any eyeshadow in. This feels so weird. I'm really curious to see how this month is gonna go without any like pre-picked eyeshadows. But the first lipstick I want to put in is this Catrice lipstick. This one is in the shade Pink Addiction. It's a really nice bright pink. I really love this shade. There is a chance that it's gonna be a bit hard for me to wear, that I'm gonna wear it like on the last day possible, because I keep like pushing it back, thinking it doesn't fit the look. But I'm gonna try and use this. I just love it when I wear it. I love how it looks when it's finally on my face, but I always am a bit scared of it. Next up, I'm putting in this MAC lipstick in the shade A La Plage. This is from a limited edition from last year. You can't get it anymore, but it's a really nice kind of cool toned bronze, kind of see-through. It has some really nice shimmer in there without being like chunky and too much. This is just the ultimate bronzy lipstick for me, so I'm gonna be putting this one in. You might still be able to find this on a website here or there. It's not that long ago that I've bought this. You can still check it out. Or MAC is actually coming out with some new kind of like luster shiny lipsticks. Maybe there's a bronzy shade in there, but I really like this one. Next up, I'm putting in this Catrice Gel Plumping Lipstick. This is in the shade 170. This is a nice kind of peachy nude, so beautiful and shiny, kind of see-through. This is one that goes with every look, according to me. I love wearing this one. And lastly, I keep putting this one in, but I keep feeling like I have to use it more. This is the time of year that I should use it, so I'm gonna put it back in. This is the Stardust Radio Shine Theory Lip Gloss by Nabla. Such a beautiful see-through warm red with golden sparkle. I love how summery and juicy this looks. I just feel like I could keep this in my Shop My Stash like for the whole summer to just use it. This is just the time of year for me to grab for this one. So this is going back in. So that was everything for my July Shop My Stash, and it's starting to rain. So this is great timing to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. And then I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye!